it too.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the songs that touched a nerve with the most people, based on how popular and indefensible the lyrics are. Number 10, Killing in the Name, Rage Against the Machine.
Killing in the name of...
Timing is essential to a breakout song, as is backlash sometimes. Killing in the Name was Rage Against the Machine's debut single, written in response to the then recent beating of Rodney King by LAPD officers. Commercial appeal was hardly the objective of a rap metal rant about police brutality and racism that drops 17 F-bombs. The political significance nonetheless led to heavy circulation of cleaned-up edits. Outrage over the obscenity may have distracted from the song's message, but even political moderates who understood were disturbed by the belligerence. This controversy announced RATM as a uniquely confrontational voice in mainstream music. Killing in the Name is itself considered a classic, which has gotten no less controversial or relevant since 1992. Number 9, Bobby Brown Goes Down, Frank Zappa.
Hey there, people, I'm Bobby Brown. They say I'm the cutest boy in town.
The endlessly inventive Frank Zappa spread many complicated themes through edgy comedy and double entendre. Some say Bobby Brown Goes Down especially loses the message in its pushed envelope. The ballad is told from the perspective of a misogynistic yuppie who begins questioning his sexuality after an encounter with a butch feminist.
Oh God, I am the American dream, but now I smell like Vaseline.
It was a groundbreaking satire of toxic masculinity and hypocrisy. It's also surreally glib about homophobia, sexual assault, and other sensitive topics, pulling no punches with the protagonist's vulgar narration. The snazzy single was a hit in Europe and remains one of Zappa's most talked about pieces. Chalk that up to debates not only of Bobby Brown's concept, but of the crass way in which it's delivered.
My name is Bobby Brown. Watch me now, I'm going down.
Number 8, God Save the Queen, Sex Pistols.
God save the Queen! The fascist regime!
These punks sure weren't covering a patriotic hymn for Elizabeth II's Silver Jubilee. The Sex Pistols' God Save the Queen was an angry anthem that dehumanized the Queen as a representative of the greedy establishment. What was meant to be a rallying cry for the working class was seen by many as a condemnation of the English people, to say nothing of monarchists.
God save the Queen! We mean it, man!
The single was banned by many British radio stations and music stores. All the same, it soared up the chart on the week of the Jubilee's observation. At least Johnny Rotten has since walked back his disdain for the late Queen as a human being. But he and the surviving Pistols stand by their heretical classic. Number 7, F the Police, N.W.A.
The police coming straight from the underground. A young got it bad 'cause I'm brown.
Few songs this directly offensive are this ingrained in pop culture. N.W.A.'s Let's Just Say F the Police dramatizes a court proceeding in which the rap group holds a police department on trial. The ensuing testimonies paint the organization as a racist and corrupt gang in its own right.
You rather see me in the pen than me and Lorenzo rolling in a benzo.
This was one of the first hip-hop songs to use anger and obscenity to draw audiences to social issues. Of course, many just dwelled on the anger and obscenity, but it spoke to so many people's own outrage about institutional injustice that it transcended cult status. It's an iconic protest anthem that revolutionized a music genre. It's also a blunt statement that skewers a whole group with shock value.
Hold it, so the police didn't like that song?
No, they didn't. For some reason. I thought it was such a catchy number.
Number 6, Try That in a Small Town, Jason Aldean.
We'll try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road.
With the 2020s being marked by division across the United States, Jason Aldean affirmed Americana in the crudest way. Try That in a Small Town blasts American cities as being more tolerant of violent crime and political upheaval than rural communities. The song naturally infuriated those who felt that the song misrepresented urban culture and political activism. Some went so far as to accuse it of romanticizing reactionary violence.
Round here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long.
The more credible criticism is that Aldean, who does not come from a small town, promoted offensive stereotypes of said communities. Either way, the controversy naturally boosted Try That in a Small Town's popularity and debates about its sentiments. Number 5. Angel of Death, Slayer. Extreme metal pioneers Slayer have always been provocateurs. In fact, few of their songs have shocked on the scale of their breakout Angel of Death. This was the nickname of Joseph Mengele, whose twisted experiments at the Auschwitz concentration camp are graphically described from his perspective. Though focus later shifts to condemn this monster, singer-songwriter Jeff Hanneman was accused of being a Nazi sympathizer. At the very least, the song sensationalizes unspeakable historic horrors. This controversy came after the track delayed the release of the album Rain and Blood. It also solidified the uncompromising brand that made Slayer a sensation themselves. Angel of Death would not be their last anthem of evil, but its particular success makes it particularly unsettling.
Angel of Death!
Number 4. Get Your Gun, Marilyn Manson. It was only when the band Marilyn Manson took their shock value into politics that the world took notice. Get Your Gun refers to Dr. David Gunn, who was murdered by an anti-abortion extremist the year before. The song also samples audio of Republican politician R. Bud Dwyer taking his own life on camera. Besides these disturbing allusions, the ambiguous lyrics suggest adolescent self-harm and fury over the establishment's hypocrisy. Get Your Gun would thus be accused of motivating the 1999 Columbine High School massacre. Marilyn Manson's namesake frontman maintains that his breakout single merely observes the cultural violence and despair that really fuel such tragedies. It's less controversial to say that the unlikely hit is abrasive with its touchy references. Number 3. Lemon Incest, Serge and Charlotte Gainsbourg. Before becoming a revered movie and music star, Charlotte Gainsbourg made a bold debut with Lemon Incest. Subversive pop star Serge Gainsbourg and his preteen daughter croon about their affection for each other with steamy phrasing. The song obviously disturbed the public, especially with the music video featuring the Gainsbourgs in a bed.
Naïve comme toi, tu n'y dois sans.
Charlotte asserts that she and her father shared an otherwise appropriate relationship and that the song aimed to be mockingly provocative. As scandalous as it still was in 1984, it's even more so now. This was compounded by mounting allegations against Serge of harassment and misogyny. Lemon Incest may thus be one of his most assuredly ironic shockers, but it may also be his most tasteless. Number 2. Cop Killer, Body Count. Body Count's real splash in hip-hop and thrash metal was over their combined political shock value. The band's self-titled debut album ended with a tirade against police by an armed vigilante. Needless to say, Cop Killer sparked outrage within and beyond the law enforcement community, who worried that the vulgar track endorsed attacks on police officers. Frontman Ice-T and others argued that the song just expresses the mentality behind a terrible response to police brutality.
We could have preempted Rodney King. You know, the record had been out almost a year and a half before the controversy hit. I walked into the studio singing Psycho Killer by the Talking Heads. And my drummer was like, man, they need a cop killer. I'm like, why? He said, so these cops will know they can't get away with what they doing.
Nonetheless, Body Count reissued the album with a replacement final track, Freedom of Speech. Moreover, Ice-T's acting career is highlighted by the role of Detective Finn Tutuola in the Law & Order franchise. He still performs Cop Killer live, fully aware of its disturbing interpretations by a wider audience. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Dear God, XTC. This pop song about a crisis of faith sparked violent backlash.
Dear God, sorry to disturb you, but I feel that I should be loud and clear.
1 in a Million, Guns N' Roses. The tongue-in-cheek folk ballad is notorious for its use of racial and homophobic slurs.
You're 1 in a million. Yeah, that's what you are.
WAP, Cardi B featuring Megan Thee Stallion. A feminist banger to some, a crass and self-objectifying scandal to others.
Tie me up like I'm surprised. That's roleplay. I wear disguise. I want you to park that Big Mac truck right in this little garage.
Smack My Bitch Up, The Prodigy. The techno staple of few words and its violent music video paint a disturbing picture. So What? Anti-Nowhere League. Censorship of this wantonly obscene track made it a punk anthem. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Kim, Eminem.
Oh, look at Daddy's baby girl. That's Daddy's baby.
Eminem's brash, politically incorrect songwriting has earned as much controversy as renown. But even defenders of his artistic expression feel Kim went too far. The horrorcore jam was inspired by the rapper's bitter custody battle with ex-wife Kim Scott. It dramatizes a hostile argument in front of a child, leading to gruesome homicide. Audiences were horrified by Eminem announcing real domestic drama with an obscene and misogynistic fantasy of domestic violence.
I don't appreciate what he's written in the songs about me. I don't appreciate them being played around our children, and I'm sure it doesn't set a good example for him, especially, letting them believe that it's okay for a man to disrespect you like that in any way.
Scott, who has long struggled with depression, survived an attempt on her own life after the song received an ovation at an Eminem concert. Thus, Kim continues to polarize as an uncompromised portrayal of disdain and divorce, and a compromising example of women's place in popular music and Eminem's legacy.
I should have known better when you started to act weird. We could have. Hey, where you going? Get back here!
What songs do you think struck a raw chord with audiences? Give them a platform in the comments. Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.